The Simpsons predictions. How are the Simpsons so accurate in their predictions for what they think or what they put out there is to happen? Well, I have a theory which is backed by a decent amount of evidence as to why The Simpsons is so successful at consistently predicting what's going on. First thing, is it really a prediction or is it a predictive programming? Is it a prediction or is it a they're telling you what's going to happen? Because a lot of people think that these certain things that happen today are being predicted, but they're actually just it's not necessarily a predicted, they're telling you what they're doing, they're conditioning you to accept it when it happens, etc. So when you have The Simpsons time and time again putting something in their shows that then happens, and in fact this, by the way, is a bit of a soft spot for me because the last thing I posted of a Simpsons predictions got fact checked. It got fact checked, not because it was false, but because it was obviously true. So you had this post that was talking about preemptive programming, predictive programming. So the post was a picture of the guy on Capitol Hill with all the tattoos, with the horns on his head, and Simpsons had an identical thing in their show. Fact check. Why would you fact check that? Because as you see something that is so strange, how could they have possibly, it makes you start to think, damn, was that whole thing planned? Was that whole thing psyop? Was it staged? You got to understand that the people behind The Simpsons, put it this way, have contracted, you could say, with some of the organizations, agencies, etc., which are manipulating the world we live in today. And that's how they have firsthand knowledge. They know something's going to happen. How else could you determine that The Simpsons, time and time again, there's all these 9/11 instances where, he's holding a newspaper that says, 9, and then in the background there's two towers that line up perfectly to do 9/11. That was a couple years before 9/11. You may think these are abstract, these are whack, these are stretches, like, oh, that's a stretch. But when literally hundreds of Hollywood and entertainment productions have things that you couldn't, like, how many times is it going to be a coincidence? How many times is it going to be a coincidence? They have to put it in your face. They have to show you what they're doing in order for them to have consent, according to their own little cult, you could say, where they need your consent to be able to do what they're doing. And by them telling you and you not rejecting it, you are technically consenting to it. It's called informed consent. So that's how The Simpsons predicts this, is because they're involved in the cult. That the people the producers of those are involved in the cult. Simple as that. It's not a coincidence. It's not how'd that happen? How did they get so consistent at these, hold on, I'm just finding this guy here. How do they get that consistent? How many coincidences could there be? Hard to imagine. So there's a lot of videos on YouTube too of Simpsons predictions. Let me kick this guy. Hold on. Someone's saying to kick him, but I got to find his name, boy. Where are you? But anyway, very, very interesting. So unfortunately, when something gets fact-checked, the unfavorable thing is that it actually kind of is a bit of a strike, you could say, where they obviously, count up, oh, you've produced false information a number of times, and, blah, 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 blah. So let's make sure that we don't, that we save the fact-checkable stuff for the Telegram group. Yeah, I got the second phone here. We're live on the secondary. We're live on the main. Let's kick this guy out. Thanks for commenting again. So funny, people get triggered. I mean, sorry, man. You can't be, being rude and whatnot in the chat to other people, please. So anyways, very, very interesting. And, The Simpsons isn't the only one. The Simpsons is not the only one. There's hundreds. I mean, look at some of if you've seen the Illuminati card game, the Illuminati deck of cards or whatever, they have a lot of, unfortunately, perfectly came to fruition, little cards, little predictions of what's going to happen come in the future. And a lot of it has happened. But remember this. And I sent a voice note in the Telegram today. And how many minutes was it? Let's see. 9 minutes, a 9-minute voice note, a little podcast there on the Telegram. And it's about the fact that if I was looking at a bunch of different pages who are posting 100% true things, posting 100% true things, that is completely the opposite of the corporate narrative. Now, this guy said, the Capitol rioter in the Animal Hat clearly watched The Simpsons years ago and decided to copy the episode. Why, you ask? To fuel people like you. Well, official Charlie, I would contest that, because if you look at how many times The Simpsons has not just forecasted a person, a character wearing a certain thing, but events that have then happened. Look at The Simpsons with their tie to the Kobe Bryant crash, which was 100% a ritual sacrifice, which will go completely over your head if you're not paying attention to the literal cult that is ruling the world today, that many think is... let's kick this guy. He came to the secondary. That's awesome, man. That is ruling this world, that is manipulating from the unseen. I mean, if we're going to talk about... I mean, dude, you're saying, I can just tell by your comment that that's obviously, like, this is maybe the first time you've ever heard that people who are engaging in acts that you could never fathom are also producing these productions and whatnot that we watch. And it would be too much of a stretch to imagine that they're involved in very dark things. So what I'm saying is this. It would stretch most people's fathomability. They would not be able to fathom what exactly goes on behind the scenes here. But when you start to research, you see that nothing is out of the possible with the stuff that these people are up to doing. Ritual sacrifices. Yep. How about the all the celebrities that pass away? What is it? 26? Is it 26th year that they all, or what is it? There's a certain year that most celebrities, many celebrities. Look what happened to Prince. Look at all the stuff he spoke out about. Look at the things he said about Sony. Prince got whacked. Prince was 100% whacked. Princess Diana, 100% whacked. These people are on video talking about an evil cult behind the scenes. Yeah, the 27 Club. That's right, not 26, 27. These people have talked about an evil cult behind the scenes that's very, very, evil and whatnot, and then they get whacked. Now, the only reason that they were murdered is because they contracted with those organizations, and then they basically broke the contract by speaking out about this stuff. Michael Jackson got whacked, yep. And so when you contract with them, you're basically you're agreeing that you'll abide by the terms and that you'll basically... to their beck and call. They'll give you fame and fortune, but you gotta bite your tongue. You don't have freedom of speech. You know, when these celebrities promote a political organization, or I just saw Martha Stewart post a video of her getting something in her arm, and you don't even see it go in. These people contracted, or these celebrities on Instagram and on these social medias, they're paid to promote these things. They cannot, if you see anything promoted by a mainstream A-list celebrity, they were allowed to do it, or they're being told to do it. There's no, let me think about just posting this thing up, blah, blah, blah. And when they start stepping out, remember, and this is just remember Tila Tequila, and she wrote a whole bunch of posts on Facebook saying, now she got pretty religious into it, but they are in their own religion. But she was posting that there is an evil group of people in Hollywood, blah, 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 blah. And then they took her off TV. They slandered her. They smeared her name. She still has an Instagram, I think. But the point is that many people have to, when you get into the upper tiers of Hollywood, and if someone's watching this who's in Hollywood, it's like, what the does this guy know about what blah, blah, blah. But we see it time and time again. Prince climbed the ladder, got up there, saw what's around him, spoke out about it, and then something unfortunate happened. And so it's what happens. You meet a brick wall in your career where if you do not join them, you say goodbye to your hopes and dreams. That's what happens in Hollywood. Very, 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 very simple to understand. and their time is up. People are going to, when this comes out, I mean, the biggest household names are involved in things that are quite not right, quite strange, quite messed up. And as soon as that is blown open, I'll tell you what'll happen. It will rock people to the core. The people they watched movies with their children, and they watched movies with these actors, and they thought, wow. And they had no idea the sadistic, evil agenda behind what those people are involved in, blah, blah, blah. Because how could they? How could they? It's almost unfathomable, because we wouldn't do that stuff. We wouldn't do the stuff that these top-ranking celebrities are forced or agree to do. We wouldn't do what these producers do, but we wouldn't do it. They would. They do. So, that's the thing. You can't be so naive as to think that wouldn't happen. No. Or they wouldn't do that. No. They would do it. You wouldn't do it. You see what I mean? You wouldn't do it, but they would. They do. So that's why we cannot be so naive and think that these celebrities, these politicians and whatnot aren't involved in some strange things. How about this? Is it such a theory that people with power would conspire for more power? I don't think so. I don't think so whatsoever. Your voice note in Telegram is too fast. You may accidentally have clicked the 1.5 speed. There's a way that you can speed up a voice note. So you may have clicked that, but I do talk fast sometimes. So maybe you got to play it in slow-mo or something. So what did The Rock say on TV? He said, remember, everyone in here is paying attention, because this whole Pizzagate kind of blew open the whole, which I'm not going to talk much about, because when for example, that documentary on Netflix, remember the documentary on Netflix, which was a complete joke. Oh, we're going to talk about XXXTentacion, which his mom follows me, by the way. We've talked. She knows what happened. The Social Dilemma claims that a whole bunch of actual real things are conspiracies. And one of the things they say is a complete fake news conspiracy is the Pizzagate thing. And there's some, all I can say is look past the corporate, aka the mainstream narrative about Pizzagate, and look it up yourself and do your own research. That's all I can say about virtually everything. You think the media is like independently owned? No. It's privately owned. It's publicly funded, but privately owned. The people who own these media agencies do not have anyone to report to, which is a big red flag. Now, XXXTentacion. Many videos of him, interviews of him, saying that so music is a drug, first thing. Music can make you produce different hormones in your brain when you listen to it. And a lot of music, the vast majority of music, has been tuned to an unnatural frequency, which is 440. 432 hertz is the sound that nature make when the wind blows through the trees, when water's flowing down a stream. It's all 432 hertz. In the 1940s, the Nazis discovered a way to make music basically mind control people by changing the frequency of it. And it induces different neuro pathways, and it can induce anxiety, it increase heart rate, etc. Just the frequency of this music. I'm not even talking about the music itself, let alone the fact that some of the music that you're playing in your house right now, if you play backwards, you will hear some very strange things. And some of the sound effects in the most viral songs you've ever heard are sound effects that came from a ritual, that were recorded from a ritual that Hollywood's involved in. And then they distort the sound so you don't know what the sound really came from. And that's the sound effects in some movies we've watched. I can tell you right now, you may think that it's a joke or a fake news that there is rituals and sacrifices and whatnot in Hollywood. Some of your favorite movies have sound effects in them that are recorded from a sadistic ritual, and they change the frequency of it, and you don't know what you're hearing. It just sounds like a sound effect, and it's a sound effect from something that is not good for you, not good in its inception, not good what was going on where they got the sound effect. This is real. that they do have this in, especially songs with 1 billion views made by top producers. They have sound effects. A lot of the sound effects are from a sacrifice where someone is literally, there's videos on YouTube of this. I'm not going to exactly describe it all here because it's like, who wants to hear about all this whack stuff? But there are people who have completely decoded some Hollywood movies and songs, major songs, and have recorded it backwards, played it backwards, turned it up, isolated the sounds, and I'm telling you right now, it's black magic. It's black magic because it's manipulating your subconscious mind. It's manipulating your subliminal programming. And it has because our conscious mind doesn't detect that this is coming from a satanic source, basically, but our subconscious mind can automatically detects that something is not right with those sound effects, where they're coming from, etc. So that's why you should only listen to 432 hertz music. That's why you shouldn't support mainstream celebrities, mainstream music. And I'm not talking about, like, some people were born for the role of some of these movies and some of these politicians and some of these music productions and whatnot. Others climbed the ladder and were organic in inception, like I think Prince was. I think Prince, climbed the ladder and wasn't born into it. Like some people are literally born into being into an unfortunate situation where they don't really have a choice. But you really should limit. Like, I literally only listen to 432 hertz music, and I don't mind having vast periods of time with no music. I know music is a huge thing. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And we love listening to it and whatnot. But it's also good to have silence. Silence is quite good for your mind. And especially because when it's silent, that if there's no music on, there's no chance that you're getting exposed to some mind altering frequency in 440 hertz, which is the unnatural frequency. So XXX Temptation videos, interviews of him talking about this plan, World War II, Nazis made 440 hertz, stop 432, it's mind control, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to make my music heal people's chakras. This is the shit he said. You can listen to XXX Temptation say this. And whatever you believe about how he got whacked, all I know is this: he was not controllable. He signed a contract, of course, like he got money and fame and whatnot. He got big, gigs and everything, which he had to sign for. So he kind of entered their ballpark, realized what was going on, and wanted to talk about it, wanted to heal people in his own situation. So what I'm saying is, don't think that you're going to get whacked for speaking out about stuff. I mean, unless you were, for example, top scientists who worked, like, for example, what's her name? Brandy Vaughn was a representative for Merck, and she came out and said, hey, we're doing something wrong at my company I used to work at. And then she, a couple months ago, unfortunately was murdered because she got involved. Like, I'm saying right now, I have no fear virtually whatsoever of what I'm talking about because I wasn't a celebrity. I wasn't a mainstream scientist. I wasn't a politician. I'm just a guy on Instagram talking. We are all just people, and all of us from our specific situations, our specific, we all have a different role to play based on our own skill set, our own abilities, and our own, things we're good at and whatnot. And we will 100% win this war because something. These people who are rebelling against, you could say, the creational energy of this reality, these people who are rebelling against the creator, these people who are involved in organizations which are hell-bent on the opposite of anything natural, okay, which is it is accurate. Like, they're releasing GMOs, GMO trees, GMO plants. They're trying to make a synthetic world that's the opposite of the natural world. They are going against the power of good. So they're going to get their ass handed to them by the power of good. They have no chance. I wouldn't in a million years. People think they're so powerful, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't in a million years want to switch places and be like, okay, like, if you can't beat them, join them. No. We will 100% prevail. There's no other option. We didn't all come here as light workers, if you want to call it, indigo children, evolved souls. We didn't come here to be connected to AI, which is their end goal, to make a synthetic world. Okay? So, and by the way, for people in Hollywood, because there's many people in Hollywood who either signed to become a complete slave or signed but are secretly aware and know that if they speak out, they could be jeopardizing their lives and their families' lives and whatnot. not if everyone in Hollywood or 50% of Hollywood says, yo, F this ain't right, this is whack. I ain't going to that ritual. I ain't going to that dinner party in the basement with the lights dim and everyone's wearing a hood, which, by the way, Taco Bell's commercial, which shows literally an Illuminati gathering around a bunch of candles in a dark cellar, blah, 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 blah. They're hiding this stuff in plain sight, man. They're hiding this stuff in plain sight. And I actually had forgotten for a little while that they did that with the audio, with the sound effects. I forget which exact movie it was, but there's a bunch of, type in Hollywood Decoded on YouTube. There's a couple channels. One is Spy Kitten. She hasn't posted, unfortunately, on YouTube in several years now, and everyone thinks she got whacked. But she was exposing the meaning behind these mainstream music videos, which are complete rituals, which are complete harvesting of your energy as you watch it, because these people literally cast spells and they curse and hex these production sets while they're recording it, which establishes a psychic connection with the viewer, which manipulates your subconscious mind. And again, this may be, someone may say, man, like, that's not true at all. It's just music, man. It's like, I got news for you, man. Like, yes, it is. It is that. They do that. And they do practice this dark magic, etc. Spy Kitten is the one YouTube video, but also just type in Hollywood Decoded. There's a lot of guys now exposing stuff, but Spy Kitten was one of the best. Her videos had millions of views. They're not deleted because they don't violate the terms of service, okay? But they piss someone off. They piss a lot of people off because they're getting millions of views, and she's going A to Z saying, look at this little symbol here in this music video, and this correlates to that, blah, blah, blah. Very, very interesting. But honestly, yes, music is a drug. Temptation there was exposing some of that. They, of course, did not appreciate that. And like I said, his mom reached out. I think I just said, what's up? Because someone said, holy shit, XXXTentacion's mom follows you. And I clicked, I'm like, damn, like, hey, what's up? And then I made a post about X, and I was like, I don't know how, but if she's following me she followed me after that happened to him, because I was posting about him before he got whacked, and I was going like, look at this song, look at what he said here, blah, 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 blah. And I guess she followed me because of that. And then when he passed, who really knows, but it did seem like he got whacked. But a lot of these celebrities fake their own deaths, and you don't even see them anymore. You don't know if they even really got whacked. Like, what, we're going to just believe these 5 corporations that own all the media? Oh, NLE Choppa, another rapper who I'm sure everyone's commenting on his post like, man, they're going to kill you, man. Watch out, bro. You're going to die. Like, they're about to whack you. Like, I don't think that's smart. I don't think that's cool to say. I think it's like, hey, man, power be with you, blah, 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 that kind of thing. Because we are going up. When people rebel against the system that is rebelling against nature, really, you're just stepping into the Taurus field, you could say. The field of natural electromagnetic life force energy in this reality. By you standing up for what's good, you are stepping into what is right for this reality, what this reality prefers, and what we literally require in order to be free from these unfortunate folks who are pulling the strings and whatnot. But by the way, their strings are being pulled too. It's like a parasite. They're 100% just like a parasite, and they thrive off of us being manipulated and whatnot, and that's what they require in order to stay in power. But as soon as we get aware, and this is what I said in my Telegram voice note today, 9 minutes long, we don't have to go out there and do something. Because look at this for a second. Imagine if the scientists who work at Monsanto, for example, the one scientist who worked at Syngenta literally said, holy shit, we're making pesticides that are so toxic. This is whack. It's making frogs reverse genders. I have to go and speak out about this, because I'm not going to go home to my family and say, and when they say, what'd you do at work today? And I say, oh, we developed a chemical weapon that they're now spraying on all the greens in North America. He didn't want to be that guy. So he came out and said, yo, we got to stop. I'm going to blow the whistle. This thing is poison, blah, blah, blah. What happens when, so in other words, he gained knowledge about what's going on, and then he stood up for what's right. The only thing that is required for complete and total human freedom is for every person to stand up in their own whatever faculty of life you're in. If you're a janitor at a school, speak up about the fact that you're spraying on the floors toxic bleach and ammonia, which literally causes kills brain cells, calcifies the pineal gland, super toxic. The whole school fumigates with this shit. Stand up for what's right. Students in a school, stand up for medical freedom, you could say. You shouldn't have to have a medical procedure to go to a publicly funded school. You know what I'm talking about? You need an exemption form for that. It's bullshit. It shouldn't even be. It should be fully pro-choice. If you work at a grocery store, you could also talk about, because you're probably going to have to clean stuff. You could talk about, I'm just saying, like, if everyone from their own position does what they can, that's it. But they have to first be aware of what they're able to stand up for. They have to be aware of the agenda. And that's why when Tyrone Hayes discovered what atrazine really was, he spoke up about it. He didn't care he was going to lose his job. And if everyone, like I said, if other scientists at Monsanto realize, wow, like this is actually not right, Monsanto falls apart. And then if Monsanto, they may quit, they may be replaced. So we also need the public to not fund them. So we have to stop buying any form of GMO ever. Someone said, did you say bleach makes calcification on the pineal gland? Definitely does. And at the least, it disrupts your endocrine system because those chemicals are known as xenoestrogens. So when you inhale ammonia, when you smell bleach, you're being poisoned. If you can smell bleach, you are being poisoned. Vacate the room. You may think it's a little bit excessive, but I'm telling you right now, what that stuff does to your brain is no good. No good whatsoever. And you think maybe because you smell chlorine at a pool, when you go swimming, it's like this childhood smell kind of thing. Man, there are better ingredients. There's mineral solutions you can get from volcanic activity that you could add to water that cleans it naturally. Like there's all these different types of people who are extracting mineral. There's a type of sea salt company that makes a sea mineral thing but you got to understand, remember, the earth is always cleaning itself. So when you have volcanoes erupting at all times underneath the ocean, they're producing a ton of bioavailable minerals, which are neutralizing BPA and harmful chemicals that are dumped into the ocean every year. So when millions and millions of women are taking birth control, which ends up in the fish and wildlife, and it's poisoning the oceans and the lakes, etc., and it's not necessarily fully their fault, because women in school, when they're 17, 16 years old, are being told, if you have acne, get on this brand of birth control. It helps regulate your hormones. No, it completely alters your hormones because it's fake news. It's fake hormones. So anyway, very, very interesting. So it's not their fault, but my point is that these school systems, if you're a teacher, speak out about the fact that you're teaching these kids to all kinds of stuff. Teachers have a really big role to play in all this. If all the teachers said, this ain't right, we ain't teaching this, I'm not teaching these kids that GMOs and fluoride are good for them, because that's literally in school, they teach that. So my point is this: we don't have to go out and do something crazy to try to have human freedom. It's cool to see these protests, but it's also kind of sketchy, because if you're at a protest, they get your face, they could call you a potential domestic terrorist, and then all your rights are suspended. I don't know if you're aware of that, but if you get put on a potential terrorist list or a potential national security threat, your rights are gone. There's no rights. They could do anything they want to. If you get put on that list, I guess it's obviously against our constitutional rights, but it's written down in all these new bills they've passed. If you're a potential threat, they can absolutely throw your life upside down, man. So that's why protests are a bit sketchy. But when everyone's out there, what are they going to put everyone as a domestic? I don't know. But the main thing that we can do is what we can from our position, from wherever we work, wherever we live, whatever we're doing. Don't leave your country and flee to another country and abandon your countrymen. Stay, do what you can, bloom where you're planted. We all have a role to play in this, 100%. Are you transphobic? What does that even mean, man? Come on, man. Transphobic. Am I scared of people with, that type of thing going on? I have no fear whatsoever in my system at all. I do think it's weird, though, that with all this stuff that's going on, is no one talking about, the fact that who you are attracted to is based on hormones, pheromones, etc. No one's talking about the fact that people's hormones are the most out of whack they have ever been. Your people's endocrine systems are decimated with these chemicals. Guys producing a fraction of the testosterone. Women having completely altered cycles and altered hormonal productions and whatnot because of all these chemicals. Why aren't they talking about that? But they'll say, they'll give all, everything's the talk of the town right now about, that type of thing, LGBTQ and whatnot. And like, yeah, of course, everyone has the right to do, as long as you're not harming someone, you should have the freedom to do and do whatever you want. And there shouldn't be people who judge you and whatnot for that. For sure, we're all human. We should have these are fundamental rights. But it's also a fundamental right to like clean water, I think, and the fact they're adding things to the water that throws your endocrine system out of whack, and they secretly tell you that it's completely safe. Come on, man. Come on. It's not right. And especially when little kids, like, I do think it's kind of weird if little kids like under 18, under 15, some 12-year-olds are in school hearing that you get to choose your gender. I do think that's to be debated. I think that we could debate both sides of that. Because these kids are very impressionable and whatnot. And you've seen, you guys all are. I'm preaching to the choir. You all know what I'm talking about. It's obviously a part of the agenda when every single mainstream corporation is promoting certain things, It's very, very obvious when you start paying attention. For women who are asking about what to do with your birth control, look into natural fertility charts, okay? Birth control, one must heal first from if you were actually sick and you were, that's a bad quote, but my point is this. Birth control, I'm not trying to make anyone feel, this or that, but I'm going to tell you right now, synthetic hormones are not beneficial. You do not have a pharmaceutical deficiency. You are not deficient in synthetic hormones. It just doesn't work like that. So if you're looking to, and by the way, again, only have sex with someone you love, who you could see yourself having a child with, because otherwise, that's why it's funny, because a lot of religions believe it to be, a sin or something that's bad to, sleep around. And the more you realize the perversion of society today, what they're trying to do, yes, promote, hypersexualize youth, get them young into sexualization, blah, blah, blah. Get them watching porn at 12 years old, which the vast majority of people have seen by the age of 12 today, which is absolutely whack. Get them on synthetic hormones as soon as they blah, blah, blah. Women today are having their periods maybe 6 years earlier than normal because of the hormones that are in milk and different meats that are fed hormones and whatnot. And then it's just hypersexualizing society. Then you have a ton of abortions because people have babies with people they don't want and blah, 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 blah. And the solution to that is, like, what did our ancestors do? Well, generally, you only do that with someone you love. And the reason that they're giving birth control around to people is not because they want to make sure that this or that. It's because they're promoting promiscuity. They want everyone sleeping around. It's a war on love. It's a war on true love, 100%. And so that's why hormones, aka birth control, you want to be very, very careful with. Yet Twitter refused to take down that. Indeed they did. Jay Voller, that's pretty strange, eh? So my point is this. Birth control is a completely synthetic. I'd be very careful ever even going near that type of thing. And if you're wondering what the solution is, it's natural fertility trackers. And don't give it up easy. If you're, and guys, don't be, let's seek love here, not a quick, you know what I mean? It's not right, man. It's not right. Especially with the problems that all that causes and people conceiving children out of lust and not of love. The child spiritually suffers from that. And then when you have absolutely virtually no clue about how to, women watch Knocked Up, guys and girls watch Knocked Up with Seth Rogen and everything, and they think that birth is this screaming, traumatic, horribly painful, traumatic situation. And a lot of girls are scared to give birth. So they feel that they don't know how to give birth. Remember, these Hollywood mother truckers, man, they have worked very hard very hard to condition you in many ways. And one of those ways is by making women believe that they do not know how to give birth. They don't know how to give birth. And they need assistance from medical professionals sitting in a that's so good. Shazers 89. She said, I got breast implants when I was 18, getting them out Friday. Def going to profusely apologize to my body. Good call. First things first, there's a page on Instagram, I forget what it's called, but there's exposing breast cancer. I mean, not breast cancer, breast implant removal and the harmful effects that happens from putting those into your body. And your immune system will be forever compromised until they're taken out. Your immune system will be forever compromised until you remove fake breasts. Any woman you see with fake breasts has, unfortunately, and this is the thing you got to be careful of, is that it can really impact your immune system. It can really impact your immune system. And not to mention the fact that people have a lot of issues from that. And in fact, I got to be careful what I say here. I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm not trying to insult or make you feel bad, but just look into the potential side effects of breast implants before you get them. And if you already have them, research into it. See if you want to maybe get those removed one day, because it can be harmful for your health for sure, 100%. And that's a gigantic understatement that we'll say for another day. But anyways, the best way is save it for someone you love, and natural fertility trackers. It's like an app that women can check when they're fertile, because you're only fertile a few days of the month. And so yes, that's much better than a neurotoxic, mind-altering, chemically synthesized pill. Okay, and I'm gonna just say it just like that. So especially, yeah, exactly. Are C-sections bad? Well, that's a very good question. Let me put it this way. Again, this is pretty controversial, man. Are you sure you want to, put it this way. You can rejuvenate yourself from the damage that a C-section does. Love can power and trump all, 100%. But yes, C-sections are becoming, 1 in 3 people are C-section today. This is the most ever in human history, and it's not because people don't know how to give birth anymore. It's because they're brainwashed into thinking that put it this way. Let's just give a brief rundown. You go into the hospital, or you go to the doctor, hey, I'm pregnant. Okay, let's ultrasound you. Okay, you're this many weeks along, and never mind what ultrasound does, because I got fact check once talking about it. We'll talk about that on my Telegram, what ultrasound does. Please research into the dark side of ultrasound. YouTube, dark side of prenatal ultrasound. So, they tell you how many weeks along you are. They tell you when you're going to be due. Every single ultrasound that they give you can be another reason. They're looking for reasons to say you're high risk and you need a C-section. Just know that. Then, come 39 weeks, if it's anything past that, it's high risk. You need to go to the hospital. And even if you have a midwife, they have to transfer you off to a hospital. So even if you have a midwife, but you get past a certain date, which, by the way, there's no science to suggest that past 39 weeks, you're more likely to have a stillbirth or this or that. Think about it for a second. When the baby's ready to be born, a hormone gets produced. It produces to break the water and to begin the labor. Until then, the baby's not ready. It's not ready. So no matter what they try to say, just be aware of that. Next is, you go to the hospital because it's 39 weeks. You've been transferred because, by the way, if it's past 39 weeks, hospital. And if you go into labor, let's say at 37 weeks, but the labor is longer than 24 hours, which is normal, you have to then be transferred to the hospital again. Anything to get you in the hospital. When they get you into a hospital, just know that you don't have that many rights. They kind of tell you how it's going to go, and they tell you your baby's at risk, So they give you Pitocin. By the way, this is all while you're laying on your back. Which women, of course, would you go number 2 on your back Okay, you wouldn't go to the toilet on your back. Why? You got to use gravity, you know? So the only reason that women are laying on their back to give birth is because it's easier for the doctor. And it's not actually just because of that. It's also because that there is a very strange, unfortunate system, man, at the hospitals. They know exactly what they're doing. The doctors and nurses don't. But the people who set up these agencies and organizations, when there's miles and miles and miles of evidence of how to give a healthy natural birth, and what the hospital does, the hospital is exactly the opposite. Exactly the opposite. So then they say, okay, let's fetal heart monitor your baby. There's two ways to fetal heart monitor. One, they wrap something around your gut, which is at all times as it's on, it's an ultrasound to your baby and it's testing its heart rate, which again, ultrasound increases the heart rate, and it also is considered to be quite potentially dangerous. Put it that way. That's how I got to bite my tongue there, man. If this was on my own website, I'd be fucking spilling the beans right now. But all I'm going to say is that the second way to monitor the heart is by screwing a metal screw into the baby's skull. No shit. Look up the two ways that they can monitor the heart. So then they're monitoring the heart, and if it gets too high, they say it's at risk, and if it gets too low, they say it's at risk. By the way, when you go outside, you lift up a piece of wood or you go running, your heart rate goes up and down. Probably one of the worst ways to detect if someone's healthy or not, or if they're okay or not, is if their heart rate is what their heart rate's at. Then, get this. This is really quick. Then, they say, okay, the baby's at risk, its heart is pumping, we got to get it out, so we're going to give you Pitocin. Or we're going to break your water. Usually they first say, we got to induce you, we're going to break your water. So, when they break your water, guess what? When they break your water, the water is the cushion. Sorry, some triggered. Hold on a sec. Yeah, exactly. My first had a cut on his forehead from that freaking metal. I'm sorry, but it is very strange. I'm sorry that happened to you. We'll talk about that in a moment. When they induce you by breaking your water, the cushion is now gone that would cushion the baby from the contractions. So when... Thank you, guys. Some people are triggered. I mean, look, some people, there's a lot of people, what is it? 1 in maybe 5 women is a nurse. So there's going to be a lot of people in here offended and pissed off that I'm saying that, you know, the shit you're doing is basically torturing children. It is what it is, man. So anyways, and by the way, nurses have spoken out about this. Many nurses have spoken out about this. So when they induce you by breaking your water, there's no longer a cushion for the baby for contractions. So when they break your water and then they give you Pitocin, the contractions increase. The contractions increase in speed, in duration, and it cuts off oxygen to the baby, which causes brain damage. 100%. Pitocin-induced contractions after an induction by breaking the water causes brain damage. No shit. So that's what's happening to millions of children probably as we speak right now. So let's take a moment to send some energy to those and hope they can repair brain cells from that shit. Then, as you're laying on your back, and by the way, Pitocin, I haven't even got to Pitocin is synthetic oxytocin. As soon as you get Pitocin injected into you, you stop producing natural oxytocin. By doing that, the love and bonding hormone, which is supposed to be releasing at the most it's ever been while you're giving birth, no longer, and I'm not, again, let me just back up for a second. I'm not going to make you feel bad if this happened to you, if you're a woman and this happened to you and blah, blah, blah. Don't feel bad about it. You didn't know. Millions of people have went through this. They didn't know. You can't feel bad about it. Don't live in the past. Oh, I wish this, I wish that, blah, 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 blah. No, don't live like that. Knowledge is power. Let's just keep going. So, they've never tested Pitocin on babies, by the way, although it gets deposited directly into the baby through the umbilical cord right away. So that's kind of strange. And then they cut the cord instantly. If the baby's born and they don't have to C-section it, which they love to, by the way, because a C-section is probably the most alien mechanical thing you've ever seen in your life. If you watch it on YouTube, it's completely unnatural. People are thinking they had a... Never mind. But a documentary to watch, by the way, having a baby, thinking about having a baby, have had a baby, or know anyone who is, watch The Business of Being Born. Someone write that down, man. The Business of Being Born. So then, if the baby's born through a C-section, it's not coated in the beneficial bacteria that it is coated with when it's born vaginally. And that changes its microbiome for at least probably 10, 15 years. The microbiome is your immune system, which is all the bacteria. If you're born through C-section, you have an impacted immune system right off the get-go. If you are born and have been ultrasounded, there's also some significant things that one must consider. Definitely make sure you maybe do not, put it this way. Just screenshot this and read this book. Screenshot this. Oh, wait. The Dark Side of Prenatal Ultrasound. That's all I got to say. This woman was a technician. She was a nurse, and we also have another book here. But what I'm going to say is this. There's, by the way, hundreds of pages of sources for exactly what she's talking about. So, like scientific sources of proof. So, I mean, for those who are maybe thinking it's BS, that's not the case. So, anyways, very important to research home births, lotus births, because by the way, you know why women bleed a lot after they give birth? You're going to say, dude, you're a guy. What are you talking about? You probably don't know. You're not a doctor. What's going on? When they cut the cord, there's still 30% blood volume in the placenta. So the babies, if you got drained of 30% of your blood right now, you'd probably die. But babies are born, 30% of the blood is still pumping into them from the placenta, and they cut the cord. The medical system does not recognize the benefits of having your cord intact until it stops pumping or until it falls off, which is called a lotus birth. So please do not let them quickly cut off your damn cord. And then also put, if you watch videos of babies being born on YouTube, they put this stuff over their eyes, which makes it so they cannot open their eyes. Which is supposed to be, in the first hour of birth is the golden hour. You're supposed to make a psychic connection with your baby by looking into its eyes as soon as it's born, and it's supposed to lay on the mother's stomach for an hour, skin to skin. Do not swaddle your baby. Do not wrap your baby up. This is another form of trauma you may not believe, but when a baby's in a womb, it can move around, it can jump around, it can stretch, it can kick. When a baby's born and they say, it's cold, and they tighten the thing up and mummify it and put a toque on its head and it's sitting there in a fucking straitjacket, that's no good. That's also a form of trauma that few know that can actually traumatize your baby. 100% increases the cortisol by 100%. The baby all of a sudden, cortisol out the yin yang. And when cortisol is released, it's stressed. It's no longer feeling the oxytocin. It's no longer feeling the love and bonding hormone. So don't go out there. But let me tell you something. Don't get a doctor and then tell him, no, I don't want the ultrasound. No, I don't want no, I don't want the bub. And no. Either free birth and look up your rights to free birth, or get a doula and even be careful with the midwife. But if you're not 100% confident, if you're not 100% fearless about giving birth, don't get pregnant yet. Wait until you're fearless, because you should be absolutely fearless. You are designed to give birth. Women are designed to give birth. Is that sexist to say? Absolutely not. I mean, we're designed to reproduce 100%. Sorry, I know that's going to piss off all these satanic people who are completely against the natural world, but we are designed to reproduce. Women are designed to give birth, not designed to be cut open because of a bunch of lies. And the doctor, they leave the hospital thinking the doctor saved their life, because after the Pitocin, the baby got distressed, so they had to save the mother by cutting her open her stomach and yanking the baby out. When if they didn't do the Pitocin, that wouldn't have happened, but they saved her. This is what most people think. Some people think that we are unable to. I grew a baby that I'm unable to birth. Women are taught, some women, they say, oh, your baby's too big. You can't biologically build a baby in you that's too big to be born. Big, look at all those bees. But seriously, you cannot grow a baby in your belly that you are not unable to birth. Your body wouldn't do that. What a ridiculous thing. We have a divine natural intelligence. We have natural intelligent design. How could you possibly grow a baby that you can't birth? Of course you can. The doctor tells you. Think of it. Doctors think fluoride's good. You're really going to take their word for it? Look, I'm not going to chirp a healthcare practitioner here, but I'm just going to say, wake up, you damn sheep. Not you. In fact, they're not a sheep. Bless them, for they do not know. Bless them, for they do not know. Doctors, bless them, man. They're going to need a shitload of blessings when they realize all the stuff they're doing their whole life. Essentially, okay, this is ignorant. Well, guess what, Emma? Sorry. Maybe you had a C-section and ultrasound, and you think that it triggers you to hear that you maybe could have researched a little further before blindly trusting the Rockefeller-funded medical system, which banned all natural remedies 100 years ago and called them quack science, and now you're worshiping Big Pharma. Sorry. Maybe research further. Nothing, man, I tell you. You can't live your life scared of what other people think. Imagine if I was scared of what little Anna or whoever just chirped me. I mean, you can't live in fear, man. You got to speak your mind. You got to speak your mind, man. 100%. But you also got to censor yourself a little bit on here. Otherwise, you'll get censored by them. And it's a lot better to be able to censor yourself than to, you know what I mean? So anyways, look up that book I told you to look up. I'm going to post some pictures of it in the Telegram. Go to the link in my bio. Get on my email list 100% ASAP, because some shit's going down right now, man, with Instagram. People are getting censored left, right, and center. People are getting deleted. I want to make sure that we're all connected. And when the website gets launched, I'll be able to actually expose the truth about ultrasound and things like that. And it's going to be awesome, man. It's going to be awesome, 100%. I have another idea too, but we'll talk about it a little later. Don't want any of you sniping my idea. But it's interesting because, like I said, when this guy asked about being transphobic, which, you know, I'm fearful of nothing, so I wouldn't be fearful of that, let alone a human being. I mean, come on. But the fact that there's such little literature about how few people have a balanced endocrine system today, how few people have proper look, if you're a guy and you're listening to this, you may have heard the false connotation by the mainstream media and the mainstream narrative today, which is toxic masculinity, that you're a toxic person for having a properly balanced endocrine system, or just by being a guy, you're offensive because blah, 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 blah. This is happening today. I don't know if you type in like men and see what mainstream news is talking about men. There's a lot of chirping going on, The truth is, the vast majority of people are grown up in fatherless homes today, which creates an imbalance, because we are meant to have the divine feminine, the divine masculine in our lives. And when people, unfortunately, are grown up in a fatherless home, of course, in a motherless home, there's other disadvantages too, of course. I mean, vice versa. Has an effect. But there's a false connotation that testosterone is associated with aggression, violence, etc. But when you look around today, 95% of guys have a fraction of the testosterone they should have because of the chlorine, the fluoride. How many guys you know who literally adamantly avoid fluoride, avoid GMOs, avoid pesticides? Probably maybe a few if you do, if you're lucky. Those are the only guys who don't have maybe completely disrupted endocrine systems, completely disrupted testosterone levels. We're going to talk about women in a second here when it comes to reproduction and when it comes to proper estrogen levels. But the fact is, toxic masculinity, you could say, which is just such a lame thing to even consider. Most guys have a lack of, you know that testosterone is the main hormone that makes guys a guy, makes them have balanced mood, balanced energy levels, balanced, etc., etc. So the idea that this toxic thing is out there by just being a specific gender, and that this hormone that is basically what makes you have drive, motivation, confidence, etc., that's demonized, is just fake news, man. It is fake news. So for all the guys who listen to this, it has definitely never been the time has never been more important to optimize your testosterone levels naturally. This is a war on men. This is a war on women. We're about to talk about women here, but actually 60%, 65% of my followers are guys. So we're talking to probably a bit more guys here than girls, but we're going to talk about you as well, because this is a sacred, divine partnership between men and women, 100%. We're meant to work together. The biggest divide they can make, think of it, they can pit blacks against whites. They can pit Asians against other races. But the biggest divide they could make is men versus women, which is where feminism and all this stuff comes in to make men and women at each other's throats and to alter the natural role of men and women, which is 100% the agenda of these different things like that. We need to partner. And they realized, of course, the biggest and best way we can divide the population is through genders, because it's about 50-50. It's about 50-50. So 100% we need to rejuvenate our systems naturally to win this secret spiritual warfare that's being deployed on us with all these chemicals, with this fake news, with all this stuff I just talked about. And I'm definitely going to post this live and I'm going to save it. But we have to be aware of these things, and we have to rebuild and restore our systems from this chemical warfare 100%. So when Chalk launches their Chalk Daily, which contains Mucuna, Tribulus, Sat-fed muesli and purified shilajit. The purified shilajit is clinically studied to boost testosterone 21% in 90 days. And that's total testosterone. The Tongkat Ali boosts testosterone 87% in only 21 days. But hold on a second. This isn't testosterone. This isn't a testosterone pill. Women can take Tongkat and they will not have an increase in testosterone. It's an adaptogen. It adapts to the individual's needs and requirements. And when men take it, and most have a disrupted endocrine system, they will have a raise in testosterone. It stimulates the natural production of your hormones. It does not contain testosterone. It does not contain estrogen. It contains plant compounds which naturally optimize your endocrine system, which means when you're taking it, and women are having these imbalanced, their hormones are all out of whack because of the birth control they're on for a long time, or they're drinking tap water. And when you're drinking tap water, you are drinking, unfortunately, pharmaceuticals and whatnot. You are disrupting your endocrine system. So women can take chalk, 100% Rachel_OX. The only chalk supplement that is specifically for men is the Chalk Daily, which has purified shilajit, mucuna, cacao extract, which is a vasodilator, which increases blood oxygen content and the ability for nutrients to be delivered throughout your body, nutrient delivery, and sat-fed muesli. So there's a couple different adaptogenic herbs in here, and then that's just for men. For women, get started with the Female Vitality Bundle, which is the purified shilajit and the 7 wonders. The purified shilajit, which is clinically studied to balance hormones in men and women and boost the genes responsible for collagen synthesis, which equals healthier hair, skin, and nails. And people are loving it. There's thousands of reviews for women explaining how they feel the benefits on their hair, skin, nails because of the new minerals they're getting, because of the fulvic acid that is one of the main bioactive compounds in the purified shilajit. People are loving this. Women are getting the Female Vitality Bundle is the best place to start. But Chalk announced, and we're about to talk about the best one for men as well, but today is the 90% threshold. 90% of the slots have been filled for Chalk 60% off your first month deal they're doing right now. Use the code FIRST60 on any Chalk supplement or bundle, subscribe to it, and get your first month 60% off. Now remember, the clinically studied benefits, when I told you, it optimizes hormones, it boosts and balances your, it upregulates the genes responsible for collagen synthesis, blah, blah, blah. It does that based on 90 days of consistent consumption. So it's very important that you keep up a consistent supply. People are asking, do I eat it? Do I take it in the morning? Do I take it at night? As long as you can take it consistently, you're good. Someone asked a good question. What is the turkey tail compound? LOL confused. Good question. Someone said, dude, what the fuck? You got turkey's tails in Chalk 7 Wonders. Turkey tail is an adaptogenic mushroom. An adaptogenic mushroom, which grows wild and is extracted. One of the extracts from that is one of the ingredients in Chalk 7 Wonders. Now, so it's not a real turkey's tail, and lion's mane in here is not the real lion's mane. It's an adaptogenic mushroom, which also induces neurogenesis, which is the growing of brain cells. So when you're taking the 7 Wonders and the Tongkat and the Daily, the increase in mental clarity that you get, you will put it this way, and I said this many times, you come out of a drug-induced state. Your brain function gets increased. You feel completely different than when you, unfortunately, and we all did, used to drink this toxic sludge that they call fluoride, or eat these GMOs that disrupt your DNA, etc. Minerals build DNA, and something like Irish moss has the full matrix of bioavailable minerals, which gives your body the building blocks of life. Minerals ignite every single biological process, and it's absolutely required to get them every single day. We used to all the time. But because, unfortunately, of the way they're growing food today, we are not, even if you're eating all organic, we are not getting the full matrix of bioavailable minerals, which we should be getting. So for those who are looking to enhance their system naturally, it sounds like the Limitless pill. Well, I'll tell you something. If Limitless had anything the closest thing to the Limitless pill would probably be, for guys, the Chalk Daily. For women, the purified shilajit. And shilajit itself, it's an adaptogen. It increases brain function. People are loving it. There's thousands of third-party verified 5-star reviews. Chalk does ship worldwide, but I want to make sure everyone knows that this is the 90% threshold. More than 90% of the slots have been filled. You can either subscribe to any bundle or supplement by itself, or the 4-pack, 3-pack, 5-pack, etc., and get 60% off your first month, which is an insane deal, or use the code 44OFF for 44% off store-wide. And that's best for people who live overseas. If you're in another country, you're not in the United States or Canada, and you want to get a multi-month supply, which you definitely do if you want to reap the clinically studied benefits, use the code 44OFF and get 44% off. Get a multi-month supply. Share it with your friends and family. I'll tell you right now, if every single guy and girl in the world started optimizing the endocrine system, restoring their ability to critically think, because that 100% affects that, your pineal gland, the function of your pineal gland. Shilajit's been used to decalcify. Irish moss with the minerals has been used and believed to help facilitate the restoration of different glands and hormones in your body. Very, very powerful stuff. And remember, these are clinically studied. Proven. There's no guesswork. Am I going to get the benefits? Yeah, you are. If you're taking it, you're getting the benefits. This live's about to end in about 25 seconds. Get into my Telegram group. Go to the link in my bio, join my Telegram, add your email to the list, get me on BitChute, and a website's coming soon. This is going to be awesome. Make sure you get me on all those other platforms because censorship is around, man. It's not coming. It's here. And I want to make sure that we don't get, cut off, and I can send everyone emails if something crazy happens. So much love, everyone. Talk soon. Get your chalk. Feel amazing. Much love.